Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Live It Up. This is the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a feel good life because that's what we're all after. We want to feel good. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson. Amy is out today, so we'll be visiting with a woman from the Valley here who I think is a really standout person. I have a heart for entrepreneurs and small business owners, and in my opinion, they are the heartbeat and the engine of our global economy. And starting a business and running it is usually incredibly challenging, which is why I have so much respect for our guest today, because she's not only started one, but she has started and runs three different businesses. Our guest today is Amber Redfield-Moore. She's a hairstylist, a trainer, massage therapist, yoga instructor, and rodeo queen. I find her to be inspiring, and I want you to hear her story as well. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that if you have questions you'd like us to answer on or off the air, just email them directly to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com. You don't need to suffer. There are answers and solutions and ways to get unstuck and move forward powerfully. And before we get to our interview, I want to share an email with you. So let's get to that. It says, Fletcher, I'm not sure what to think or do about my daughter. She's 25 years old and hasn't found her path. She took a gap year after high school, then got involved in a multi-level marketing business for a year, which went nowhere. She started college, but dropped out after 2 years to travel for 6 months. And now she wants to start up a business, but doesn't know anything about business. I'm worried about her ability to create a living and support herself. She doesn't really want my advice. What would you do? Signed, a loving and concerned parent. Well, loving and concerned parent, thanks for reaching out. As you know, we always say on the show, reaching out is a sign of strength, which means you are strong. Now, there's lots of people who feel this way about their kids. Lots of parents feel concerned and even worry about the future of their children. You asked for my advice, here it is. Consider that you have a story about your daughter, and your story is that she's going to suffer because she can't find her path. When this is your story, it becomes the filter through which you see everything about her. And our story is what determines our emotional experience in life. So think about when you go to a movie. During that movie, you experience a wide range of emotions, and those emotions are triggered by what you're focused on. The emotions you're experiencing are triggered by the storyline of the movie. And even though the movie is not real, not even one bit, you still feel those very real emotions, as if what you're viewing really is happening. Now, what I'm suggesting to you is that your story about your daughter is neither real and it's definitely not empowering. So it doesn't feel good and it puts you into a state of suffering and worry. After I graduated high school, I attended a performing arts school and I ended up dropping out. I ended up moving back home with my mom, with my girlfriend. And we worked for a while. We saved up money and then we went to Europe and traveled for a bit. And we actually ended up coming home early because we were breaking up. And so I went back to college, to a different college, to prepare for going into the ministry, which I was really passionate about. And after college, I took some time off to perform as a magician instead of going on and getting my master's degree. And then I got married and I started an exciting manufacturing business that crashed and burned. And we had kids. We got involved with another startup that succeeded wildly. Then I got divorced and left a successful business. And I began another business about which I'm extremely passionate about, which fills me up. And I used to look back at my life through a story that I wasted a lot of time, made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of poor decisions. But that story didn't feel good. And you know what? It's not even accurate, because the feel good, and so I made up a feel good story, and that feel good story is much more accurate and empowers me. And that feel good story is all those ups and downs, all the successes and failing forward. That's all made me who I am today. All those events positioned me perfectly for what I am doing now. And it's the work that I absolutely love. So you see, my story now is that life has always been working out for me, that life is always working out for me, and that it will always work out for me. And that's a feel-good story. So what am I saying? I'm saying consider a new story that says life has always been working out for your daughter, and that it's still working out even at this moment. And the good news is that it's always going to be working out for her. So try on a new story that all she has done and all she's doing now is positioning her perfectly for what's next in her life. For everything that's happened is going to make her, she'll be wiser, she'll be more experienced, she'll have greater understanding and greater clarity of what she doesn't want and what she does want. We're always making up stories about everything and everyone, so make up a feel-good story that empowers you and her. I know you can do this, and I believe in you. Hey, stick around. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back to talk with our guest, Amber Redfield-Moore, right after this. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us today. I love that you're here. It's always so fun to bring people that inspire me to you, so you can feel some inspiration too. And today we are visiting with Amber Redfield-Moore. So Amber, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Fletcher.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what, a little bit about what this show is about. I'm just highlighting entrepreneurs. I'm highlighting people that are doing cool things in their life and practicing a feel-good life, which is really important to me. And I know it's important to you too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things we do is we always start off with a couple wins because it's a practice, right? We want to look and notice what's working well. So what are a couple wins that you can share with us?
Oh my gosh. Well, as we all know, 2020 was super challenging. But one of the things that I sat down with my closest, family and friends, or my family, as I like to say, was, let's find something every day that we can be thankful for in amongst all the chaos. And, I'm super grateful for the win of my salon team, the way that they pull through and they put a smile on my face every day, and they've just persevered through all of the challenges of this past year so beautifully. Moving from hair into the yoga world, I've got some students that are super inspirational to me, that keep me, if you will, that remind me to find the wins, to find the gratitude, and to most importantly, find grace. I think that was the biggest win of 2020, and leading into the beginning of this new year of, always finding grace with ourselves, and being able to find grace for others. And I think that's one of the biggest wins I've had this year.
I love it. And thanks for bringing up the whole element of grace. I actually just saw the post on your Facebook, and I took a snapshot of it because I'm going to use it as well. It is such a wonderful definition. Do you recall it enough to kind of share about it?
Pull it up. So are you talking about the one that is just being like right here, right now, and have the grace for yourself? Or was it the shorter one?
It was the graphic where it said grace is taking the lessons out of your mistakes and kind of using them for progress.
Grace means that all of your mistakes are now serving a purpose instead of serving the shame. And, one of the things that in our lives, whether you recognize it or not, there's so much shame that we have. And I feel like it's just something that, in our day-to-day lives, in society it is today, there's shame in, having growth, especially through challenges, and having shame for who you are. And when we can break out of that, grace is the biggest pivotal change in that. If we have grace, we can move beyond shame, and we can grow even further and blossom into the humans that we are. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah, right on. Really good wins. So thanks for sharing those. So as I wrote on your thing, I mean, you really are an impressive entrepreneur. I mean, I've created businesses, known lots of business owners. There's a lot of challenge. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of figuring out. So share a bit, just real briefly, about the different businesses that you have, just so we know what you're into.
Well, as of January 1st this year, Deepwater Salon and Spa celebrates 11 years in business. Um,
Wow.
yeah, super exciting. And it's gone by just in a flash, of course. And within that business, I mean, we've grown from two of us. At one point, there were 15 of us, and now there's a beautiful team of five. And I, I'm gifted by them every day. Through owning the business, of course, there's all the challenges of learning to move from the position of thinking you're a boss to becoming a leader. And
Hmm.
that's the most beautiful transition in mindset. Not everybody goes through it, but it's something that over the last 11 years that I've truly experienced. And it's been a gift to my life, learning how
Yeah.
to lead people versus boss people. And just the people who've graced my doorstep through the salon. I mean, from the teams that I've had to um, the guests that we have in every day, that it just, we couldn't do it without them. I couldn't do it without my team. Through owning the business, I've also, over the last 7 years, been an international and national educator for color for Paul Mitchell Systems, which has been a huge honor at little
That's so
small
cool.
and big town things. So that's been really fun. And
Yeah.
I, I don't think without the support of the salon guests, and of course family, I couldn't have done that. So
Yeah.
um,
And then in addition to running this business, you're also doing a couple other things, right?
a couple. I never know when to stop, I don't think, but it's fluid and it's fun and everything flows. Kind of my baby business is Yoga Pravaha. That's my yoga studio, or yoga offerings. Pravaha is Sanskrit for flow. One of the things that I've connected into through my 20 plus years of yoga practice is finding the flow of life. And that is an ever evolutionizing thing in our own lives and for my own self. And one of the things that, as I went through my first 200-hour yoga teacher training a few years back, like learning how to hold space for myself,
Mm.
ultimately learning the practice of grace, wrapping back around to that. But,
Yeah.
and as I've developed into the teacher that I am today, being able to hold space for others to maybe just find a little sprinkle of that grace for themselves, even if it's for the, hour to 90 minutes that they're on their mat with me. And it's just a really gratifying business. I always joke that it's never work for me. I have the honor of teaching and holding that space, and it's just really special.
Yeah.
Really special.
I love it. I love how you talk about holding space too. I love that concept. Is holding space for, myself, holding space for others. It's a beautiful way of putting it.
Yes.
And then you've got one more thing you're doing, right?
Oh
The
gosh.
the massage.
Oh yes. So in the year of the pandemic, I actually went back to school. And I officially yesterday received my Department of Health license that I am now officially a massage therapist. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's really fascinating. Rewind back about a year and a half. I was at a 300-hour yoga teacher training immersion down in Costa Rica for a month. And somebody asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I am a hairdresser." And I stopped and I said, "No, I do hair. I am Amber." And it was
Yeah.
this moment of like, oh, I've been identifying myself as what I do, instead of
Yeah.
identifying myself as who I am. And
I
it
love
just
it.
kind of opened these floodgates. And while I was, in the jungles of Costa Rica, I applied to a school down Wenatchee, Columbia River Institute of Massage. And um, I went to my interview. I was the first person she interviewed for the spring session. And um, she said, "Well, why do you want to do massage?" I said, "Because it just seems right. And I love to learn. And I love,
Mm.
all the aspects. I already touch people for a living with hair and I teach yoga. That even, if I don't enjoy the massage portion, the kinesiology, the pathology, all the science stuff is super fun too. But every day that I went to school, even when we had 3 months on Zoom, um, every day that I went, I loved it more. And
That's so cool.
yeah, I talked about holding space for people when I teach yoga. I mean, it's a whole nother level when you start offering massage and just having that space of healing for people, whether it's immediate or over time. And sometimes it's just simply getting people into the parasympathetic nervous system and allowing them to just be for however long they're on your table. And
Mm,
it's really beautiful, really beautiful.
I
And it's
love it.
gratifying work. It's something that you can always see a difference from.
Yeah, yeah. Really good stuff. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more as we talk with Amber Redfield-Moore. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We are having a great conversation with entrepreneur extraordinaire Amber Redfield-Moore from Chelan Valley. And she operates 3 businesses, just got her official license for her 3rd business yesterday. And so, Amber, a lot of people, they will frequently complain like, there's not enough time. Entrepreneurs really come up against that. Oh my gosh, there's not enough time. Here you are running 3 businesses, doing all sorts of trainings. What's your story around time?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's kind of funny. I try and find balance. Being a yoga teacher, we're always trying to find balance or homeostasis of some sort. The biggest thing around time is you have to be intentional with it. If you're not intentional, it's going to slip away. It's going to slip through your fingers. I was listening to an inspirational little podcast on my way in to teach yoga this morning, and it was talking about time. And it's, you have the decision of how to spend your time. You can be successful, you can be intentional with it, or you can spend time doing those things that don't serve, sitting in front of Netflix, choosing to play video games. It's all a choice, and there's nothing bad in those things. But in order to find that balance of time, you've got to be intentional with it. I have a girlfriend that explained her day a few years back in 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. What am I doing for these 8 hours and these 8 hours and these 8 hours? And when you start breaking it up in that way, it becomes really tangible in a way to, like, I think of using a fork and a knife. Like, this is work time, this is personal time, this is work for this business, this is work for that business, and how to find that balance. And it's so important to be intentional and know what your goals are. Goals are so important. And I like to take bite-sized goals. I mean, I know it seems like I have big lofty ones, and of course we all do, we're humans. But it's important to have those little bite-sized goals that help you get to the bigger picture. And you get to that bigger picture through intention and how you schedule your time.
Yeah, really good stuff. So next question is, what keeps you going? Where do you find inspiration?
Yeah. So what keeps me going? Well, the sun rises every day, the sun sets every day. Therefore, we need to rise every day and we need to set every day. One of my favorite things is meditation, whether I have only 5 minutes to do it or I have an hour, it doesn't matter. There's a quote out there. I love quotes that, you should meditate for 20 minutes a day. And if you don't have 20 minutes, you should meditate for an hour, and it gives you that time to find insight. And that inspiration can always be found outward. We have all these inspirational quotes, we have inspirational people, and boy, howdy, do I have a lot of them in my life. But my true inspiration has been when I look inward and understand what I desire, what is my dharma? What am I sent here for? What is my purpose? And that shifts and changes as we move through life in different stages. But I think that's the biggest pull that I have, is that personal introspection of what do I want? And they say sky's the limit, and really, truly it is. So that's so inspiring to me.
I really like it. I like what you said is, like, even if it's 5 minutes a day, right? Because it's all about that practice, right? Yeah, really good. So let me see what we got here for time. I want to make sure we get this one answered. So I'm going to skip down to this one. What advice do you have for other people who are listening and may be either wanting to start up a business or are in a business right now, but are kind of struggling as sometimes entrepreneurs do?
Yeah. So Entrepreneurs are just people that, jump out of a plane and build their parachute on the way down kind of aspect.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's only the right way for you, and your business and your dreams. Find mentors. That was huge for me. I mean, from the person that I purchased the business from, which happens to be family, she'd owned the business for over 25 years. That's huge. And having that mentorship. And then I started reaching out, as far as the hair industry, I worked with people from around the world. And mentors are so important. They've been there, they've done that.
Yeah.
And you just have to put your feelers out there and to be able to connect to others that are doing the same thing, that are going through the same things, and just do it.
Yeah.
And find a
Yeah.
balance, and always have you time. I think that's
And always have you time. Yeah.
have you time. Yeah. Find a time to be right here, right now, not worrying about tomorrow, forget about yesterday, and just be right here.
Yeah. I love what you said about getting mentors, and some people will say, well, I don't really know who to reach out to. Just start reaching out. Just like who has the outcome that you desire, reach out to them, email, call, take them out to coffee, whatever. Well, what if they say no? Well, they might say no, but you know what? Chances are they're going to say yes, because people love to be a source of contribution. So yeah, really good advice. Find a mentor. And one of the things you mentioned about time, as you were talking about that too, it kind of brought up this time thing in my mind. But one of the stories I have about time is we always have enough time for the things that are important to us. And so just make getting a mentor, make time for that, and reach out and ask. So we got a couple more minutes left. If people want to reach out to you, maybe to ask you some questions, maybe to ask you to be a mentor, or maybe to make an appointment at your salon, or get a massage, or come and do yoga with you, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh my gosh. So because we have things like the internet, we've got websites. I've got deepwatersalon.com, has all the information as far as that goes. Yogapravaha.com. Pravaha is Pravaha. And those are great resources that are just easily accessible. And then of course I'm on social medias, at Amber Redfield-Moore, on Facebook, on Instagram, it's Amber Dawn Moore. And then of course I've got Deepwater Salon and Yoga Pravaha pages as well. And all of those, I'm always answering questions. I'm always there, at your fingertips, which is really nice. Love the space that we can hold, even when we're not in person. So
yeah, right, exactly. Okay, let me see what we got here for time. We have, oh no, we're just about at it. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Maybe we'll check back in. Because I'd love to follow you and hear how things are going, in the summer or something. And now you know what it's time to do. It's time to get out there, be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution. You do have something to offer this world, and I believe in you.